It's wrong and immoral to seek to escape the consequences of one's actions. And so what's the antidote to escaping the consequences of one's actions is accountability. I'm going to be accountable. I'm going to have big shoulders. Where there's no accountability, there will also be no responsibility. And so if you want responsibility, where people have big shoulders and they're taking on responsibility, then what I would say is make sure you up the ante on the accountability. And so imagine you have a team and you're saying, okay, Abe, this is great. I want to create that healthy workplace culture. I want to foster more of an environment of accountability. How could I develop or promote accountability on my team? That's what I want to take a couple of moments and drill into here today. Hey, welcome back everybody to the Flourishing Podcast, where we have been looking at a series or a little bit of episodes at the whole idea of creating healthy workplace culture. As a matter of fact, this is actually our 10th episode on creating healthy workplace culture. We kicked everything off by talking about toxic workplaces and why the antidote to a toxic workplace was a healthy workplace culture, a flourishing workplace. And here at Flourishing Workplace, we believe in changing the world by changing the workplace. And so we've been working through 10 traits of people who create a flourishing workplace culture. At the end of the day, every one of us feeds into the system. I have the opportunity to be a change agent in the workplace, in the system that I'm in. And the 10 traits that help us to do that is literally what we've been talking about over these last several episodes. And so I'd encourage you to go back and look at those episodes because you're going to uncover and unpack some amazing principles. I'll tell you what, that will help you to create and build a flourishing or healthy workplace culture. Today, I want to look at the 10th and final trait. And this trait is called effective problem solving and accountable. We need to be accountable if we want to create a healthy workplace culture. Now, I want you to imagine the impact of having somebody on your team who is not a problem solver and who is unaccountable. I'll tell you what, it does not take a genius to figure out that that individual is going to create, maybe all by themselves, a toxic workplace. Because if I'm a problem causer rather than a problem solver, and I'm not a person who's willing to be accountable and to be held accountable, then ultimately I will become an unintentionally destructive force on the workplace front. But when I am a person who says, I'm not going to create problems, I'm going to help solve them. When I come into the workplace and I think, how can I create an environment of accountability, not just where everyone's accountable to me, but I'm also accountable to them, all of a sudden now we're talking about a healthy workplace culture. So we're going to take a little bit of time here in this episode and talk about the concept of accountability. Now, accountability is something that is so misunderstood. Did you know that accountability actually accelerates results? It accelerates them. Now, accountability does not mean taking blame. It means taking ownership. Those are two completely different things. When you take ownership, everything changes. You taking blame is just like, oh, everybody's blaming me. Everybody's down on me. Okay, you can play that card. But if you want to be a contributor to healthy workplace culture, then it's about you owning things. You're going to stop blaming. We're going to start owning. It's two completely different things. And here's the thing. Successful teams cannot thrive without accountability. You look at any winning sports team, be it a Stanley Cup champion in hockey. I'm Canadian, so of course the hockey reference comes out. Major League Baseball and the World Series, you name it. Super Bowl champions in the NFL. I'll tell you what, if you've got a team that's a winning team, that's a championship team, that is a team filled with regular people who hold themselves to superhuman levels of accountability. Creating a culture of accountability is actually the secret of high-performing teams. Accountability actually fosters better team relationships. It improves happiness on the job, and it helps people to clarify and accept expectations, all the while eliminating unnecessary, unhealthy, nasty surprises. Mahatma Gandhi said it is wrong and immoral to seek to escape the consequences of one's actions. So I'll say that again. It's wrong and immoral. This is Gandhi saying it's wrong and immoral to seek to escape the consequences of one's actions. And so what's the antidote to escaping the consequences of one's actions is accountability. I'm going to be accountable. I'm going to have big shoulders. Where there's no accountability, there will also be no responsibility. And so if you want responsibility, where people have big shoulders and they're taking on responsibility, then what I would say is make sure you up the ante on the accountability. And so imagine you have a team and you're saying, okay, Abe, this is great. I want to create that healthy workplace culture. I want to foster more of an environment of accountability. How could I develop or promote accountability on my team? That's what I want to take a couple of moments and drill into here today. The first thing that you can do is start with everybody else. No. Number one, start with yourself. If you want to build accountability, the most important thing is to hold yourself accountable. The other day, some of you may know that we have a team member here. She's worked with me now for over 5 years. We've worked together. Same office, same place. She's a key member of our team. She's our director of client experience and director of business development, Cynthia. And she said, she paid me the highest compliment I think I may have gotten from her. And she said, Abe, I've worked with you for 5 years and you never ask me to do things that you don't do yourself. And I think that that's so important because it doesn't mean that we're always doing the same things every day, because that would defeat the purpose of having a team. I mean, on a team, we all do different things and that's okay. But what she was conveying was the idea that we're not a situation where we've got this hierarchy and while I'm the boss and therefore you do all the grunt stuff and I'm the big man and I get to do all the nice stuff. No. I want to hold myself accountable. I can't expect to hold other people accountable if I don't hold myself accountable. So the first thing you got to do to promote accountability on a team is you got to start with yourself. The second thing, though, that you got to do is you've got to set clear expectations. You know what? If you confuse, you lose. And so the more clear you are, the higher the level of accountability will be. You can't expect somebody to be accountable to a standard that you have not set. You've got to set the standard with a clear expectation and a clear level of accountability. And when you do that, well, now you can expect that accountability. The third thing that you've got to do to promote accountability on a team is you've got to create trust and psychological safety. Now, why is trust and psychological safety so important? Well, because at times people are going to mess up. And so accountability is not this environment where we're all walking in lockstep and everybody's perfect, but it definitely is an environment where if people blow it, they can own it. And that there's enough safety so that they can actually believe that I can own my struggle, I can own my battle, I can own my issue, and I'm not going to lose when I do that. So start with yourself to promote accountability, set clear expectations, create trust and psychological safety. And then number 4, use an accountability tool. I know for a lot of people, this can look like project management software. For a lot of other people, this can look like a list of tasks. For some other people, this can look like I use my Microsoft Outlook, all the tools that are in there. But here's the thing. It is very hard, especially you got a lot of details going on, to keep track of everything. I mean, heck, if you got to just use sticky notes and Sharpies, then you do that. But stop trying to create and foster and hold yourself accountable if you're not utilizing the tools that are out there. Find ways to hold yourself accountable so that you will not only be able to hold yourself accountable, but you can also hold your team accountable. I know that one of the best ways that we can hold a team accountable is just by regular meetings. Your meetings shouldn't be long. They should be short. They should be focused. They should be directed to it's almost like an accountability conversation. Here's the target we set. Here's the projects we agreed to. Here's the goals that we laid out. Did we follow them? And I'll tell you what, when you do that, not only will you create accountability for yourself, but you will create accountability for your team. And so as we bring this series together on creating a healthy workplace culture. I hope that you kind of remember these 10 traits of healthy workplace culture, the 10 traits of people who create it. And I encourage you to go back over those past episodes and review it. I mean, number 1 is personal empowerment. Number 2 is personal awareness and management. Number 3 is emotional and social intelligence. Number 4 is having leadership and courage. Number 5 is being innovative and entrepreneurial. Number 6 is resilience and a growth mindset. Number 7 is being motivated, being a self-directed learner. Number 8 is moral directedness, integrity. Number 9 is being able to collaborate. But number 10, and maybe this is the one that brings them all together, is being accountable, holding yourself accountable, working with your team. And so here at Flourishing Workplace, we're all about teams. I'll tell you what, we believe that you can change the world by changing the workplace. We believe in workplaces and teams where everyone contributes, everyone thrives, and where everyone belongs. And so please do go to flourishingworkplace.com, schedule the discovery session at no cost to you. But I'll tell you what you're going to get out of that is a detailed roadmap. And then we're going to walk with you to implement that so you can move from maybe even a toxic workplace that you might be in today to a flourishing workplace. And we'll help you do that. So that's flourishingworkplace.com. Thanks so much for tuning in, and we'll see you in our next episode.